Hey, good morning, YouTube. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody had a good weekend. Thanks for checking in with us. Thanks for dropping by. See what's going on out here. We finally figured out how to work this weather thing. It's like the northern half is weather and the southern half is sunny. That's about what we're looking at, looks like. So that's pretty simple. A little bit of snow in the Rockies, snow in Canada. Just waiting to shoot south now. Get this party started. But been nice and clear out here, almost summer-like all weekend. If it wasn't 80, it was close to it. So how was everybody else's weekend? Hopefully everybody's getting accomplished everything they need to do before the winter gets here, because then it just gets hard to do. All right, so there's your precipitation. If it's looking like it's precipitating over you, get out your galoshes or whatever. All right, so we'll move on from there. We've got checking in with us. Tommy Boy is the first one in the house. What's going on, Tommy Boy? Good morning. Prepper X is with us. Good morning. Cold, 38 in Tennessee. Yeah, that's pretty chilly, Tommy Boy. And the same in middle New York. 44 in central New York. That's kind of a big temperature gradient. Should it be the opposite? How did that show up on here? Let's see. It did show kind of everything in the purple range when we had the temperatures up. That's interesting. But it seems kind of warm here. Feels like it's about 45 or so. Truth Freeze is also with us. Good morning. How you doing? Thanks for joining in. You're in Western New York, and you share the proud governor who's keeping us safe. See, the governor. Didn't we talk about this last week? Cuomo's the governor, right? Not the mayor of New York City, right? Because sometimes it seems like the mayor of New York City is the governor or wants to be the governor. I get confused. Oh, that's right. The National Guard thing, that was Cuomo. Okay. There you go. Yeah, Comrade Cuomo will keep you safe. All right. All right, well, moving on. Obviously, we had the shooting in Pittsburgh Saturday, correct? Yeah, Saturday. Seemed kind of surprising. I figured a place like that would have some sort of armed security, but I guess that's not kosher. It's forbidden, if you will. But I still don't understand why these folks get taken alive. Should have shot on sight. Don't give them a chance to give themselves up, would be my perspective, but that is what it is. So the first good, I guess we'll start off with the good news. We were talking about the Brazilian elections last week. Bolsonaro looks like he won his election. People are concerned that he's going to grow the economy and put people to work, I guess. But he's private. He ran on a platform of privatizing business industry, instituting mining, and there was one other thing that totally blew people's heads up. Also getting rid of some gun control was part of his agenda too, which was kind of surprising. So somebody outside the United States trying to reverse all this madness as well. No wonder everybody was panicking about him stabbing me in the streets and stuff, sending their hitmen after him and whatnot. So he better watch his six. They already stabbed him once, so his life is probably in jeopardy on a daily basis as the communists come after him in mass probably now. The bigger question is this: he had a 56% of the vote after 94% of the ballots were counted. So that was the margin of his lead at this point, at least, but they're declaring it a winner down there. Hey, Dad on YouTube, good morning. Yeah, truth free slowdown. I was going to get to that. Also, on the good news side, on foreign politics at least, it seems like we never have any good news in our politics. Merkel is stepping down, will not get re-election. So the creator of the German European Union is stepping down. This makes a good case for more destruction of the EU. So even if the British don't get out fully, we may see some good action by other countries or even Germany itself in the EU dissolve itself, if not in totality, at least in the reverse its course, go back to more of just an economic union instead of such a fully policy and everything else involved union, where each of them are dictating to each other how to run their countries, what they can say, censorship, all those other things that are going into it. So she's not seeking an election. She was speaking after disastrous regional elections in Hesse and Bavaria for her Christian Democrats and its Bavaria-only sister party. She saw the results as a clear signal that things can't go on as they are. So while she wants status quo, she knows that's not happening. So changes they are a-coming. So as she is elected via a coalition effort between all the different groups, the way they run their system, she probably is in bad shape, not even have enough support in her own party to win re-election. So maybe bad news for the globalists. We'll see how Germany fares. Her presumed favored successor is the Christian Democratic Union Secretary General, Karen Bauer, who announced her candidacy on Monday. Traditionally, okay, so here's how they do the deal in Germany. Traditionally, the person who holds position of party chair of the government's largest party Also takes position of chancellor, but this is not a binding rule. Previously, Merkel has said the two jobs belong together. I'll say they don't elect her like a prime minister. In a coalition form, it doesn't look like. So tossing some. So we'll see how that works out for Germany in the long run. There's the different. This is the results of the vote in Hesse. And yeah, so that's going down. What else we got going on in the side chat? We woke up another day, Tommy. Indeed, we're all made it alive. We stayed alive. We didn't die. That's what we said going out the other day, right? Germany has white guilt syndrome. Yeah, truth freeze. They are 30 years down that path. I don't know. Hey, 520 Homestead. Good morning. What's going on? Is it your area code 520? I didn't know that. All right. So that was on the radar there. That'll be interesting to see how that affects other formations of the EU and iterations of the EU, and if it further breaks apart without a strong central leader, or if Germany doesn't have a lead role, how that affects everything. So as all y'all know, mentioned, the Indonesian airliner that went down over last evening. I don't see it on the Drudge. Here it is. From what I read, in particular of concern was there were 22 Indonesian government officials on board. This is yesterday morning, and it reported a technical problem and requested a return, and then was no longer heard from. There were bodies pulled from the sea after the plane carrying 189 people crashed in Indonesia just moments after the pilot reported technical difficulties. No survivors have been found at this time. It crashed just 13 minutes after takeoff, so it definitely had some sort of issue. A lot of planes crash out there near Indonesia. Wasn't the let's see, the plane that was shot down in the Ukraine was Indonesian, correct? What airline was that running for when that happened? Yeah, at least 23 government officials were on board the plane. So that raises the specter of foul play if the Indonesian government isn't maintaining good relations with some people. The plane's pilot was Indian. What we know so far, 13 minutes after takeoff, 189 on board, 178 adults, no survivors found. Going from Jakarta to, oh goodness, I'll just mess that up. Pangkal Pinghang, Indonesia. However you say that. Rescuers have posted pictures online of crushed phones, books, clothing, ID cards, and bags that have been found. It was a new model Boeing 737 MAX 8 and had only been in use for 2 months. And they are pulling bodies out of the water as well, it looks like. Several. Trying to locate the wreckage. Oil slick, gas slick. Truth Freeze asked, thought commercial planes have autopilot? Well, it's irrelevant if it's having a technical issue. It doesn't matter if it's on autopilot or not. Hey, 520, have a good day. Yeah, Castaway, this is down in your neck of the woods. What are they saying down there? That, well, a plane could get hit with a meteorite, I guess, but then it would explode in air. It wouldn't even have a chance to radio for support, assistance, or anything, I don't think. Even a small meteorite's moving so fast, it would. When you hear about them exploding in the atmosphere, can you imagine if one hit something in the atmosphere? It would, even a small, tiny thing would wreak havoc. Probably split it in two or wherever it hit it. Wreckage, some pictures of wreckage they found. Got it lined up on the pier here. So they found quite a bit of debris. It looks like that they're sorting through. So that's the situation with that going on. It's just debris recovery. I don't think they expect to find anybody alive in this. They've already pulled multiple bodies out of the water, it looks like. Just there's not necessarily anybody really talking about any foul play, but it did have maintenance done after a technical issue the night before. It doesn't say if those are similar issues as what was reported. It doesn't say what the pilot reported when he requested a return to Jakarta after takeoff. It doesn't say what his. They usually declare they have an issue with something. The emergency beacon did not emit a distress call to site, despite it being certified to work until August 19. So that was that situation. Emergency beacon didn't work, apparently. So that made it harder to find in the recovery, or even trying to find the debris there, or the wreckage. So don't get on a Boeing 737, I guess, until further notice. Find out what the issues are with that. Hey, the Farkas, good morning. How's it going? Any footage, Truth Freeze? I don't think anybody's had any video of the plane going down or anything like that. Nobody's said anything about it, at least, either. All right, Farkas, have a good day. Did you finish your giveaway this weekend? I missed out on all of YouTube this weekend. You better spread the word if your giveaway's still going. If not, we'll tell everybody they missed out. I don't think I've seen a handful of videos this weekend. But go check out Farkas. That's the You Can Do It channel if you're familiar. He got shut down and had to restart another channel and rebuild in there. So go check him out. Let's see who else we got here. How come only the British papers have good stories out on this thing? They're probably the only ones that have good pictures. That's why Dredge links to them. Yeah, I thought there was something about Indonesia. This is a Daily Mail article. There have been more than 40 air accidents resulting in deaths in Indonesia since 2001. So I guess the lesson is don't fly to Indonesia or around. I was thinking there's been a lot of accidents in the area there, and it seems, yeah, I guess my memory's correct there. I mean, how many air accidents have we had in the US in the last 18 years? Pretty sure we haven't had 40. You get one or two bad engines or lose pressure in the cabin and whatnot. You hear those stories. That's about the length of it. It seems like this article from the Daily Mail seems to be more the same. Lots of pictures. Another debris field. It's a more close up. So it looks like it broke up. Oh, Farkas says Firearms 101 was the winner. Right on. Winner, chicken dinner. Still go check out Farkas's channel. Build it back up and get some things going. Tommy Boy didn't win, so it was rigged. Yeah, we've seen how that works, Tommy Boy. Everybody's working against you. Even random.org works against you. More body bags lined up. That's half a dozen. So they're definitely they got divers in the water too, so they're probably pulling some up that way. Video of the debris field. So here's a quote from the operational director doing the recovery operation. Predictions: nobody survived because the victims that they found, their bodies were no longer intact. And it's likely been hours, so it's likely the 189 have died. Does that mean they were like dismembered and broken apart? I wonder if that might be a translation issue. The bodies were no longer intact. I mean, it sounded like they were like heads and arms ripped off and stuff. Which would seem kind of weird for a water landing that there would be that much. I mean, I guess you maybe got, I don't know. That's maybe see how that seems like it might be a translation thing, no longer intact. I guess we'll have to see if they talk more about the condition of the victims that they have found. They're searching for the black box, which we know isn't black, right? So the recording device, the orange box, or bright yellow, depending on how they paint it. They'll find that and hopefully get some more technical information out of that. This article is not much different, little different video here of the debris field and whatnot. All the personal effects laying about. Yeah, just a short distance, even off the coast. This is the flight path. It circled back to head its route and shortly off the coast crashed. Flight altitude stayed around 5,000 feet for about 7 minutes, so they didn't even gain full altitude. 5,000 feet is nothing. That's definitely a approach altitude, not in transit at that time. So they definitely knew they had issues. More of the debris. All right, let's move on here. There was a Zero Hedge had an article about it too that I had pulled up. They probably don't say much different, but they have one brief article here. That's where it was going, Pangal Penang, north of Jakarta there. And they listed these out of Bloomberg, it looks like. The last major incident in Indonesia, it says December of 2014. And that's when the 162 people died on the Air Indonesia Airbus. So of note, this is a Lion Air flight. Australia has banned government officials and contractors from flying on Lion Air. So they are not well-respected provider of flight services. So if you're flying anywhere internationally, don't fly Lion Air, I guess. Australian government doesn't trust them. It's probably not good. But they are the largest privately owned Indonesian airline among the major customers for Boeing and Airbus in Asia. Lion Air is not grounding any of their fleet of Boeing 737s. So that's that. That's on the Zero Hedge. Just a couple factoids there extra. Couple extra factoids. Let's add that in there. Description box, some of the links, don't forget if you needed them. If you haven't already searched them yourself or just dropped over to the Drudge, pretty easy to get to. Hey, Bikes and Bullets, good morning. What's going on? What are you up to down there? It's like summertime, it seems like. It's so hot around here. There's an article on the Zero Hedge continuing down that line. We talked last week about the carrier group going to the Arctic in the first Arctic exercising of that size in quite some time. Zero Hedge has an article on that if you're so inclined. What are we talking about here? A cross-border tunnel? No surprise there, Head, right? Blame Trump for the crash. Right? It probably was. It's probably he was demanding too much out of Boeing. He loosened the he probably loosened the regulations on the development and building of the 737, so it's his fault. Something. I don't know. I guess you could probably find a tie somewhere, maybe. Check Sam Ezra tunnel found cross-border tunnel. Isn't there one of those found like every week, though? Is it any different than any other tunnel? Arizona, maybe 520 was had his supply lines cut off there. Refresh this. It usually updates in the morning pretty easily. So our markets are off too, Tommy. What's the stock market doing this early? It looked like it was pointed up a little bit early on, but yeah, almost 200. They're trying to giddy up. They're giddy up, but they're not going nowhere. I don't think they still below 25,000, and bonds are ticking up, so that's not going to help anything. We talked about Friday and got that explanation a little bit about the bond market being the big stick in the mud. Keep an eye on that 10-year, 30-year bond rate. If it goes up, the stock market ain't going anywhere. Tunnels, cross-border tunnels. See if it made the front page here. The drudge or not. I didn't see it on Zero Hedge. You said it was Sam Ezer. Who's Sam? Is that a person or a channel? Sam Ezer. You got a YouTube link here. Let's see where this opens up at. Okay. Tunnel discovered in San Luis, Arizona.
Thousands of struggling Nevada children are in danger.
Oh, lots of political ads this time of year. Don't vote for Adam Laxalt. This is in August. Tunnel discovery in August.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know why I care.
Welcome to Yuma Sector Border Patrol Headquarters.
Did they not report this at all?
I wish to thank Homeland Security Investigations for letting us host this press conference on the joint effort between Homeland Security Investigations,
no images,
Yuma Sector Border Patrol, and Yuma County Sheriff's Office.
So this
is in concern of the cross-border tunnel that was discovered by these agencies. Please turn your attention to the screen as we watch a short video on the cross-border tunnel.
Okay, they're going to show a video on this, see if we can. Oh, no audio, never mind.
Good morning. I'm here to tell the story of a collaborative law enforcement success made possible by all the agencies represented in the room today. On Monday, August 13th, San Luis Police Department conducted a car stop for vehicle and traffic violations of a pickup truck towing a trailer that was driven by Yvonne Lopez, a resident of Yuma. After the stop, the K9 was called and alerted to 2 toolboxes located on the trailer. Within the toolboxes was approximately 168 kilograms of hard narcotics. To break that down, and I'll give you approximate rounded off numbers, that was over 118 kilograms of methamphetamine, over 6 kilograms of cocaine, over 3 kilograms of fentanyl, over 13 kilograms of white heroin, and over 6 kilograms of brown hair. I would particularly note that just the 3 kilograms of fentanyl translates to over 3 million dosage units. The nation in the midst of an opioid crisis, obviously this is a very significant seizure. The toolboxes in which the narcotics were discovered had previously been observed being removed from the abandoned KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, located at 552 San Luis Plaza Drive in San Luis. Mr. Lopez and placed on the trailer.
All right, looks like, so was this press conference then, or I guess this press conference is from August 22nd.
As well as for his
residence. And he's just now getting it up. So nobody covered this press conference, it doesn't sound like. But yeah, I mean, how many tunnels do they get? Like Bike says, there's probably a couple hundred tunnels like this. But the links in the comments there that Truth Free's put in the comments, and we'll get it over as well in the description box for your review, historical review. I mean, that was months ago now. But that's quite a bit of product that they reported there too. Tommy boy, that's a nice bunker. Yeah, that's, who wouldn't want a bunker like that, right? All got reinforced walls and everything. It's ready to go. So they're just going through all the description and the law enforcement efforts about how they got between here and there. Abandoned KFC. That's interesting. That abandoned building. So that would be an easy way to just pay the property owner off, build a tunnel in an abandoned or what's not currently being leased facility. It looks like it's vacant, and do your thing there. Either be the proper, I guess you could be the property owner, or just pay him the lease and don't develop it. Still stands vacant, but he's getting paid. He don't care, right? Especially if half the property owners are out of the area, not local. Some property management company, they don't care how it's being utilized as long as they get paid, right? Interesting way to go about it. Hey, Billy Bird Outdoors, good morning. All right, folks. Anything else going on out there in your neck of the woods would like to cover? It's getting that time of the year. The Halloween situation is going to cause a lot of madness. Probably a lot of weird stuff coming out. A large quake off South America. 6.3 struck off the southern tip of South America. That was at 2:54 local time Monday. So early this morning. 312 kilometers southeast of Argentina. Agency said the quake was relatively shallow, depth of 10 kilometers. That's it. 6.3 is not terribly bad, but I don't know what the tsunami issue is down there. And that doesn't say anything about a tsunami warning or anything. Depending on the nature of the under ocean topography. But that was hours ago, so they haven't said anything else. So just FYI, that's still within the ring of fire, I think. It's still, as it circles around the Pacific. I guess it depends on which side of the cape it was on down there. What happened to the diggers of those tunnels? Forced labor. Built pretty well. Yeah, those tunnels are definitely well constructed. I don't know if you could say it was forced labor. Well paid labor, maybe. drug or possible. Yeah, who knows what they're running through the dual purpose tunnel? Could be anything, not only drugs. Tony should buy some property down there to help fund himself, Tommy boy. I don't know if he would want to work with those compatriots there. So check out your description box for some links there, folks. If you want to know what we talked about, for those that are just checking in, we're about ready to get out of here. Mike said, did you hear that DHS conducted a site visit at the synagogue in March? Yes, there was a couple stories about that. Synagogue that got shot up on Saturday. DHS had visited for evaluation, I guess, for threat evaluation a couple months ago. Was it back in August or back in the summer? All of PA2 synagogues had drills, and that was one back in January, says Truth Freeze. That far back. Yeah. Well, what's the use of having a drill if you don't have armed security? That was my question. I figured something, a site like that with that big of a footprint, we figure would have armed guards of some sort. I guess though that they say that the word is that, from my understanding, what's been passed on is it's not kosher for synagogues to have armed security. But I don't know that makes sense. But I didn't look any further into it. The wall is useless without tunnel blocking, right? Truth Freeze. But tunnel blocking is almost impossible because you can dig down quite a ways. The wall ain't gonna be able to go deep enough to block a tunnel. The tunnels are only effective, though, usually in urban areas too, across border, El Paso, Yuma, places where there's city to city where they can cross and have a building for cover. It's harder. They don't really build tunnels out in the middle of nowhere, which is most of the wall is going to be out in the rural areas, I guess you'd say, the remote areas where people can't observe. Obstacles don't do any good without observation, though. Hey, Ann, good morning. How you doing? Thanks for checking in. You're not late. Are you posted on G+2 bikes, right? See what we're talking about here. You guys are fired up this morning. Prepper X, they did an assessment at Parkland School too. So what we take away from that? Don't go places where the feds do an assessment. Well, the strange things about that, I guess it depends on what level it is, because I know years and years ago, they did all the assessments of all the schools in Nevada years ago. They did all the layouts and evaluation of all of the sites. And I think there's a database or something that they use for response purposes. Bikes probably knows about it, but it wasn't DHS level. I think it's all DHS funded, though. So maybe that's what they're going after. It's a DHS funded assessment. I think all states went through something like that where they evaluated the floor plans, and like if they had to go in, they would know the floor plan. They could access it through dispatch or something like that. I don't know, but Bikes probably knows more about that than I do. But it was definitely years ago, not a couple months ago.